Alright, so this is next big batch of food, which is going to be Nasi Goreng with chicken, no prawns, though too expensive. So we have ketchup mayonnaise, soy sauce, sweet chili sauce, and I have fish sauce because I don't have prawn paste or prawn concentrate. Shrimp paste. Don't have that. And I have garlic. And these should be shallots, but I've got yellow onion instead. And then leftover veggies, which is the whole point of this kind of dish. Just use what you have. Got some bell peppers, red peppers, olek or spring onions, and one last little bok choy, and 3 chicken breasts. So the first job is to chop up all the veggies and get those ready. And then I have, whoops, almost forgot. For the chili I have sambal olek, which is authentic, but should really be fried with shrimp paste as well as the sambal olek. But I didn't have shrimp paste this time, so that's why I'm using fish sauce. So let's do the... Oh, there's a garlic piece already. Cool. Let's do the veggies first. These should be shallots. I don't have them. So white, yellow onion is as close as I get. These are old ones. Sting your eyes. There's some bin. Alright, so that goes in my little Chinese bowl. And we need some garlic. No ginger in any of the Nasi Goreng recipes I saw. So only garlic and shallots. No ginger. So we'll do a few of these. Maybe four or five. I'm not sure. I'm doing a big batch. Keeping going. And these are getting a little old. They're kind of dried out. As you can see. Oops. Yep, there we go. Well, I'll use up the last one here, number 5. Getting a little old. So, there we go. right way. Oops. I'm just chopping coarsely. This is supposed to be a street food thing, so we don't go around chopping perfect brunoise or perfect little squares or cubes or rectangles or what have you that they would do in the classic French kitchen. This is supposed to be coarse. So, just roughly chopped. It's supposed to be fast, of course. So, where the stem. So just slicing them. That's probably good enough. Thumb always behind the forefingers, unless you want to slice off the tip of your thumb. So that's good enough. Now we slice up the rest of the veggies. Carrots, paprika, and spring onion. So for the carrots, I'm going to use a little tie tool, which is used for slicing green mango. And I'm not going to bother peeling because these are really new carrots, so they'll be fine. It gives me nice thin slices without chopping away too much. This is really good for Thai salads. Yeah, it's because you end up. There's another way with the Chinese chef's knife, which is also good. But this is how a lot of Thai people do it. To get thin strips of veggies reasonably quickly, and they may not be perfect, but it's, oops, chop off these ends. But I mean, it saves you a huge amount of time, and they turn out pretty well for the most part. Sometimes they stick together a bit, like the occasional one. But I find it works really well, and it's a lifesaver. As opposed to chopping and chopping and chopping and chopping these damn carrots into perfect rectangles and then perfect oblique or whatever. This just saves you so much time, and it's just grooved, like you can see. And again, what it's made for is perfect Thai salads, of especially papaya and green mango salads. For that it's really perfect because you get the thin strips without too much effort. So I mean, this one's pretty much done. Could peel them, but the skin is so thin that I don't think it's necessary. It really isn't. Alright, I'll turn you off while I peel some more carrot, and then we'll get on to the next veggie, which is bell peppers. Well, next veggie is red bell peppers. So if I can find my knife, which I put down somewhere. It's under the veggie peeler. Not much to these. You're already starting to get moldy, so I'll have to wash them right off. That's no good. So just chop in half. Rip out the guts and the seeds, some of the ribs. So this is the big part of making any Asian dish, is all the choppy. Takes a lot of time. A little bad bit. So, goods with the carrots. This is going to be a big batch, but it has to last 4 days. I think that's almost enough. That's probably enough. Save this thing for later. So, whoops, bumped you. Spring onions. A whole lot of them. Actually, we're first going to do my last remaining bok choy, which I had to peel off. Most of it was rotten, but just quarter that, and then maybe half again. Goes in with those other ones. It cooks very fast. So now we can do the spring onions. So, spring onions. So we'll do most of these, I think. Just trimming off the ends. And we're going to do these in like chunks, or fairly coarsely. I think we'll do all of them. So we get nice green Nasi Goreng. And these are fresh enough that I don't have to peel off the outsides. They look fine. They're fresh. Just bought a couple days ago. So now we're just going to chop them into about 1.5 inch or 1 inch pieces. Well, 2 inch pieces maybe. Nice and chunky. Remember, this is peasant food, street food, not meant to be fancy. Goes on the floor, goes in the bin. There's one that escaped me. So, there we go. That's the veggies done. Let's do a bit of a cleanup. Keep your station clean, said Guillaume all the time. So now, I have to put away some of the shit here, but now we have to do the omelettes. This Nasi Goreng often has fried egg or omelette, or it has a fried egg on top traditionally, but instead I'm going to do Chinese way, which is a lot of Chinese in Indonesia, which is a fried egg stirred through, an omelette sliced thinly stirred through. So, stirred through. Well, before we do the omelettes, I'll do the sauce. So it's mostly ketchup mayonnaise, which is this. That's one brand, but it's about equal parts and less sweet chili. Sweet chili is optional. That's a new variant, and I kind of like it, so I'm going to have sweet chili in there. But many recipes don't use sweet chili. And as you can see, I'm just using repurposed curry sauce thing. But there's a good blob. That's about a quarter full of sweet chili. And about the same amount of soy sauce. Thin soy sauce, not dark soy sauce. So that's about half full. Then about a quarter of sweet chili. And then, because I don't have shrimp paste, which is traditional, or I like it anyway, I'm adding fish sauce to get the umami in there. So, just a good squirt. And then put the lock, the cap on, give it a good shake. And this will keep for 2-3 batches now, I think. That's enough. Don't need that much. But anyway, there's my sauce. Alright, so time to do the eggs. So time to dig out my small wok. It's only a little Ikea thing. But we want about 3 eggs or 4 eggs. I'm not sure what we're going to do. Maybe 4 eggs. 3 eggs I think will be enough. Then chopsticks or fork, break it up. No need for salt and pepper or anything like that. And then turn the heat on the wok or frying pan. It's up to you. You want to make really thin omelets. And then slice them up. But traditionally it would be a Nasi Goreng with a fried egg on top and cucumber and tomatoes and maybe some herbs on the side. So this is more like a Chinese version. But anyway. So waiting for the pan to heat up. Shouldn't be too hot, should be medium warm. Let's get the oil swirling around there. The does not have to be boiling. Medium heat. To get a nice thin pancake we can roll and then slice. That's the point. So it's getting pretty warm. I think we can throw some in there. About half. And it's probably a bit too much oil. Too much oil. Anyway, that's too bad. We'll slice that up. Set it aside and make our omelette number 2. Roll it. That wasn't very thin. But we'll do the next one. See if it works out better. It's a bit thinner. That's more like it. You can see that. That's much better. Then we can tasty though. Hot. Very hot. Turn this off. So this is more like it. This is what we want, a thin omelette. So this is also in, well, I forget, Singapore noodles, and a whole lot of Asian foods is in pad thai, thin sliced omelette. So we'll give the pan a wipe. Now we have to wash up our board. Means the last thing remaining is to chop up the chicken, and keeping chicken separate from meat and from vegetables. So we have a separate chopping board for chopping the chicken. That's important to remember. Even has chicken on it. And remember to wash your hands between when you're using veggies and chicken or meat and fish and so on. So you got 3 chicken breasts, 650 grams, whatever that is in pounds, I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to cut those, what is it, here, that's not good, in on the smallest bits, dividing the breasts in half, like so, and then in chunks, kind of small chunks. Actually 4 chicken breasts here. And then they'll go, I think most likely back in the container the chickens were in, so I don't have to clean more things. And then everything gets washed. Chopping board, my hands, the knife, so don't spread possible bacteria all over the place. And it's not that dangerous if it's going to be cooked again, but if you touch raw salad or raw veg, then it's not so good. Although there's very little bacteria that are dangerous in raw. So this gets washed, that gets washed, hands get washed. So, alright, so we have one more ingredient, which obviously this is Nasi Goreng. That's going to be the rice. So the chicken, and the sambal olek, onion and garlic. I've got all the veggies. We have the eggs, which go in last. And then we've got, it's quite important to do this beforehand, the day before. Cooked cold jasmine rice, which has got black things from my rice cooker all over it, which is not so good. I think I'm just going to have to stomach that. My rice cooker is kind of dying. That could just be carbon from when I burned something. It's not great though. But anyway, cold, it has to be cold, it has to be cooked the day before, otherwise it's too sticky and it won't fry properly. And I've got 2 whole containers here. More carbon deposits. It's not good. So that could be the Teflon which is coming off, which is not much I can do about. I mean, I'm just gonna have to eat it. Anyway. So, anyway, yeah. Some Teflon in there. So, alright, I'll get back to you when I'm ready to fry up. Okay, we're ready. On full blast. I've only got a bit of baby wok, so I have to adjust how I cook this. So I think how I'm going to do it is aromatics from the chicken, aromatics, the onion, garlic, and the sambal olek, then the chicken, then the veg, then the rice, and the sauce, and the egg at the very last. Or I could do them all separately and toss them together. That would be another way to do it, which would probably be better, to be honest, because this is normally you'd have a giant wok this size and a huge gas-fired thing underneath, and I can't do that here. And as it is, it's going to be absolutely chockers, very full in the pan. So we'll see. But we try this way. I'm just experimenting. Some peanut oil in the pan, neutral oil, vegetable oil is fine, olive oil is fine too, Jesus. So waiting until the oil gets hot enough, and then if I'm not sure, take a little bit of onion, put my hand over, it's getting hotter, but just see when it starts to fry. So I think that's, give it another minute. You can throw that in with sambal olek, and then ideally I would have some shrimp paste, but I don't have that, and that makes it very strong too, so not good for those who are not used to Nasi Goreng. It's very strong. But I've made up for not having shrimp paste by having in the sauce, which is here, I put some fish sauce, so that should help a bit. Because I'm making such a big batch, I'm going to put 3 good, or almost half this of sambal olek in, give it some kick. This was a nightmare to open, by the way, so this brand is almost impossible to open. So 1, 2, 3, I'll do 3.5. Good heaping tablespoons of sambal olek. And then normally you would have shrimp paste at the same time. Now I have a choice. I can fry this up a little bit, let that fry, and then empty it out, and then fry the chicken separately. Or I can put the chicken in now, but it'll boil instead of frying or cooking. And I think I'm going to just let the chicken boil with steam. It's kind of half boiling, half steaming, but that's alright. Trying to do this as close to street food as possible. So like Mark Weems and street food. You need to make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom. So I'm going to add a little more. This is going to be quite an oily dish. And this is going to basically just boil in the oil, the steam. So now it's basically cooking now, not quite poaching, but cooking, boiling in the oil. It's not frying by any means. But I don't have to give it that long because these are small chicken pieces and they cook through pretty quickly. And then the veggies are even smaller, so they don't take that long. And then the rice, and then the sauce, and the egg at the very end. Really, I should have the spring onions absolutely last, but I've collated them in one. Well, here you go. They're in one thing now, so I mean. Just have to make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom. There's plenty of sambal olek now there, so that's going to be pretty spicy. And I don't have to give this very much longer. This is small pieces of chicken, and they'll keep cooking the whole way through. So I mean, 30 seconds more and I can throw the veggies in. If you're recording, there you are. So that's good enough. It's raw in the middle, but I mean that's okay. Just have to let that cook down a little bit. This is going to be a huge pot. And there's no way I can flip it. The chicken is already basically cooked through. And it's still on full blast. So now it's only the rice, which I still have, if you look carefully enough, and it's one in the corner, damn it. I still have pieces of Teflon flaking off my rice cooker into the rice. So, time for a new rice cooker. So there's still a bit of moisture there. I've already added a lot of oil, remember. So I think I can add the rice. With all the Teflon in there. I'll add the egg as well while I'm at it. And everything's in there except the sauce, but the rice has to kind of cook a bit. And at this point it's really steaming, it's not frying, except for the bottom bits. Like I said, this wok is a bit too small. It's not a real wok, it's just an Ikea thing. And it's frying there now. And it's very important that the rice is a day old, or at least a few hours old and chilled in the fridge. So now this is basically good to go. It'll be tasty, but it's not Nasi Goreng yet unless we add the sauce. And if I add just light soy sauce now, it'll be breakfast Chinese fried rice. But to make it Nasi Goreng, we need some sweet ketchup mayonnaise or sweet soy sauce, and light soy sauce and all the rest. So a little bit at a time. Do like that for now. It's very easy to go overboard with the sauce and the ketchup mayonnaise, and then it becomes overwhelming. Of course, I mean, it should have shrimp as well, and well, it could have anything really. It's a leftover kind of thing where you use leftovers, and some cold rice and leftovers. But it should really have, it should definitely have shrimp paste, which I was missing. I would say it looks a little bit soggy, but I mean, looks alright. Bit soggy, a bit wet for it to be a proper Nasi Goreng. But I don't have a big enough pan and the heat to evaporate all the moisture. So it is what it is. Looks pretty tasty though. And then really you don't need the eggs in through it, but fried egg on top and cucumber and tomatoes and lettuce and herbs on the side, that would be a good Nasi Goreng. And then it has to be made in a big wok, of course. So I mean that's a little hard to recreate at home. Unless you have, like my parents, a giant wok and a giant wok cooker, they can do it. But not really any chance of doing that here. So I'm just going to taste this. Do I need more sauce? Well, I had a lot of sambal olek in there. That's pretty spicy. I think it does need more sauce. Let's do the rest. That was really a lot of sambal olek. So this is going to be a really spicy one, without a doubt. Oops. This is a spicy Nasi Goreng. I went a little bit crazy with the sambal olek. Anyway. This should keep me going for, well, there's 4 days, which is all I got left here before I go salmon fishing. So, I mean, that's fine. It's a long video, sorry about that. Alright, you can turn you off and start serving up. Some of the mess here. So it's a bit wet. Should really be drier. With a big wok, it would be easier. But anyway, this is Nasi Goreng from some beacon. And then there it is. Nasi Goreng, my style.